What's up guys, Austin here, and today we're going to go over some of the iPhone 7 announcements that were just released a couple of hours ago, but I have to say, I don't know what the hell was going on Twitter. Tim Cook was on stage on the live stream, and then you just see Apple's Twitter basically release all the information about the new iPhone before he even started talking about it. Then you had Forbes Tech News, which I follow on Twitter, and they were tweeting about the entirely wrong event. They were saying, oh, the new iPhone SE was just released, the new iPad Pro, and this was like months ago, so I don't know what the hell they were watching, if they were watching the... I just don't understand how you can do that for 20 minutes and not catch what the hell you're doing. It was a mess, but let's just get into it. So starting off, the iPhone 7 comes in two new colors. We are ditching the space gray, and now it's just going to be a matte black version. They're just calling it the black version. And then we also have, not the piano black, but the jet black. And this is a entirely black and glossy iPhone 7. I don't really know how I feel about this. I'm probably gonna go for the matte black version because the jet black, it just seems slippery as and you're probably gonna drop it, and it's gonna be much more easier to scratch, which Apple has already come out and said. Now, starting off with actual features, this is something that a lot of other manufacturers have had. All of Samsung phones have this, but it's gonna be water and dust resistant. I think it has an IP67 certification, so you don't have to worry about using your iPhone in the rain. So it's nice that they actually finally have some sort of water resistance in their phone. Now they just need wireless charging and all the other things that Android fanboys constantly complain about. Now, to differentiate the iPhone 7 from the iPhone 7 Plus, you have to look into the cameras, and that's where these phones get really different. So first of all, the iPhone 7 is basically going to have the same camera module we've seen in the iPhone 6s. It has a 12 megapixel sensor with an f1.8 aperture. It has improved low light performance. It's supposed to be 60% faster, 30% more energy efficient. But I think the best thing that they announced was on all models of the iPhone, so the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus, they're both going to have optical image stabilization, which is a great feature, which means that you don't have to bump up to the 7 Plus if you want to get better picture quality on your photos. They also upgraded the front-facing camera, so now the FaceTime HD camera is a 7 megapixel shooter. So now we move on to the iPhone 7 Plus, which is where things get interesting. So this phone actually has two cameras on the back, and we've actually seen this on different phones in the past, so this isn't something new. If you follow any other tech YouTuber, Honor paid a ton of money to advertise. So that has two cameras. HTC has tried with two cameras. LG has tried with two cameras. So now Apple is actually getting into the fray, but let me explain what those cameras are actually used for. So the two different cameras on the iPhone 7 Plus are different. The first one is a wide angle 28mm lens, and the second one is a telephoto 56mm lens, and this allows them to do some interesting things with zoom. So rather than just digitally zooming into a photo from 1x to 2x, you can use both of the cameras to optically zoom into the photo, and then from 2x to 10x, that's when you digitally zoom. And if you watch the keynote, you'll also notice that Apple invented something called bokeh. Now, obviously this isn't something new, they didn't invent bokeh, but they do have cameras that allow you to get a shallow depth of field, and they showed some pictures which they claimed were taken with a high-end DSLR, but later revealed that they were taken with the iPhone 7. I have to say, they do look good, so I'm actually pretty excited to see what that looks like. So like they always say, this is the best display that they've ever put into a smartphone, and that's true. It has a brighter screen and a much wider color gamut, which will allow you to produce a lot more colors and a much more natural look to the phone. But what they didn't really mention was the fact that their Retina HD screen still has the same resolution, so you can take that however you want it. I do know that if you are on the Android side of things, you'll know that we have a lot higher resolution screens. It seems like 2K screens, 1440p screens are kind of the standard nowadays, but we still have a 1080p phone on a flagship phone in 2016. I just find it a little bit weird, but I mean, resolution's not everything, but just take that however you want to. And now, oh dear mother of God, this is where things get interesting. They removed the headphone jack. So we knew that this was coming for a very long time. I mean, we've seen all of the leaks and all the rumors and all the mock-ups and all the leaks from case manufacturers. So we knew that the headphone jack was missing, but let me explain to you why it's not as bad as everyone's complaining about. So first off, and you can look at this as a trade-off, but because they no longer have the headphone jack, they were able to put something else in that space. So we've already been introduced to 3D Touch, and you guys know what that is, but now they've redesigned the home button so that it's a solid state home button with taptic feedback. So think back to what they did with the first 12-inch MacBook. They replaced the traditional trackpad and introduced a new haptic feedback trackpad that allows them to do so much more, and that's essentially what they did with the home button on the new iPhone, and the headphone jack gives space for that. Now again, this isn't really a new feature. We've seen stuff like this on the OnePlus 2 and the OnePlus 3, but it's still a nice feature, I think. I think it's a move in the right direction. I should probably preface this by saying that I'm not an Android fanboy or an Apple fanboy. I just like good phones, but I don't think that the exclusion of a headphone jack is anything new. We've seen that on on the new Moto Z phones. They don't have a headphone jack, and it actually allows more opportunities. Now, would I have preferred USB-C, which is going to be a lot more available on more devices? Definitely, but moving from analog to digital audio, I don't think it's a bad move in general. So for all of you that were wondering, they're going to be including Lightning EarPods, which are just Lightning EarPods with a Lightning cable at the end, and they're also going to include a Lightning to audio cable, so you're still going to be able to use your old headphones with your iPhone. But of course, this is Apple, so we couldn't just end it there. This is one thing that's got interesting, and I still don't know how I feel about it. AirPods. So again, this isn't new technology. We've had wireless earbuds, and I mean truly wireless earbuds from Samsung even, but I just find it weird that they just look so weird. Like, I'm just trying to imagine the meeting that went through, and they're like, oh look, Samsung's doing some wireless earbuds. We should probably do that too. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Can you give me some earpods? Yeah, sure. All right, here we go. It looks weird. I don't know if I'm gonna get them. Probably not, because they cost like $170, so probably not. But if you guys want to check them out, they are truly wireless. They come with a charging case, and probably the best thing about them is they last 5 hours, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's actually a lot more than a lot of the competition that's already out there. So keep that in mind. And then of course we have the usual spec bumps and performance increases. So here we're dealing with the A10 Fusion chip, which is a 64-bit quad-core chip that is 40% faster than the A9 found on previous phones. An interesting thing about this processor though is that 2 of the cores are low power, so that should theoretically help with battery life, which they did mention battery life, and it wasn't significant. They just said it's gonna have better battery life, which equates to about 2 hours or so better battery life on the iPhone. So now instead of being able to make it to 3 p.m., you'll be able to make it to 5 p.m. So that's basically all the new stuff with the iPhone. Pre-orders are going to start this Friday on the 9th, and it's gonna be dropping on the 16th in 32, 128, and 256 gigabyte variants, which, oh my God, it's about time. It's 2016 and I should not be excited over not having a 16 gigabyte phone and a flagship phone, but they finally got rid of it, and oh God. But anyways, that's it for the iPhone 7. It's gonna start at the same $649 that the iPhone 6s started, so the same price we've always seen as the iPhone. But that is the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 7 Plus. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, because I'm gonna be picking those up on launch day and doing a lot of reviews on them, the camera, and all the different features that they have in the new phone. So stick around if you guys wanna see that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.